Welcome to A Grace to Grow. We hope you enjoyed the videos up to this point, and we are super excited. Gonna be talking about communication and going in depth on some pointers and some failures and our past experience.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You want to lead us out?
Sure. So one of the things that Ken and I realized is that in any relationship, communication is big, and a lot of times it can be a big issue if it's not dealt with. And unfortunately for Ken and I, early on in our marriage, we didn't know how to talk to each other. So we had a lot of unnecessary arguments, both trying to fight to get our point across. We wasn't listening to each other. So we're actually going to be doing quite a few segments on communication. Today we want to focus in on listening, which again, like I said, a lot of time we are so quick wanting the other person to hear what we're saying that we're not even receiving what they're saying. And I know for me, one of my biggest things is I want eye contact. When I'm having a conversation with you, and I'm assuming a lot of women may be like this, but I want to know that you care. So I need for you to put down the phone. I need the TV to be turned off. I want your full attention. And when you're busy doing something else, in the past, be honest, I would just shut down and be like, we can have this conversation another day.
But we're not going to go in depth, but I couldn't help but to share this part. And I know that there are a ton of people that can relate to this. As she was saying about putting the phone down, I just can't help but realize that she has her phone when we were communicating. I'm gonna leave that there. We ain't gonna talk about it. I just had to throw that out there. Now I'm gonna get back into it. But in all honesty, for Dee and myself, she did share that she wanted me to focus and pay attention to her or give her eye contact. And that was my biggest argument. Well, you don't do it for me. In which it didn't bother me that she was moving around, because for me, my thing is I listened better when I was moving. It helped me to focus more because I was paying attention physically here, but I was listening.
I think too, I wanted to share, remember the little exercise we did with some couples that we had over to the house. We actually put a barrier. We just used a book, and we had the couples to have a 5-minute conversation with each other with the book held up in between them. And we wanted to get their feedback on how it made them felt. And some of the couples, especially the women, they said they didn't like it because they wanted the eye contact. And surprisingly, a lot of the men said they like having that barrier because it forced them to listen to what the other person was saying because they couldn't see. So it can go both ways, and we just encourage couples to just try that exercise so you at least know what you're needing. Because sometimes, that right there causes an argument because we sometimes don't even know what we need.
And so by Dee, we can go in a little bit in depth on this because Dee, took the time to say, hey, I need for you to set the phone down. But there were so many other reasons why I didn't want to. For one, if she offended me yesterday, why would I want to listen to you today? Why would I want to give you what you need? And basically, that's what pains and hurts. And past offense in the relationship causes. It causes the other person to refuse to give the other person what they need. So Dee and I always, want to encourage anyone in any relationship, whether it's parents to child, marriage relationship, dating relationships, best friends, is that there's a healthy balance of learning how to receive from the other person and hear what they're needing. You always share a good part on sometimes, the words may be saying something else, but their heart could be saying something totally different.
Right. Sometimes when we're having a conversation, we need to listen beyond what our natural ears are hearing. I could be talking out of a place of hurt. You could be talking out of a place of frustration. And we're not getting anywhere in the conversation because we're stuck on, well, you have an attitude or, you've hurt my feelings. But if we kind of step back, and try to see things from the other person's perspective. Hey, let me look beyond what is said, or how it's being said, which we're going to be talking about tone, in our next segment. But sometimes we got to get beyond the hurt and the feelings to truly. Let me take a moment to truly listen to what he's saying, because you might just be saying something I need.
Absolutely, and some just popped up that we probably haven't shared before, but creating a safe place. So listening, one thing, and we have talked about this though, is that if I come to you and say, hey, I'm being vulnerable, big tough Ken coming in, being vulnerable and saying, hey babe, you really kind of bother me in this area, and your response is, man, you need to grow up, be a man in that area. I want to say this, and I say this with all honesty. That would be the last time I would come to her in a vulnerable state, just because of her response. And so, in that, we need to create a safe place, where each other can share. Even though I may be frustrated or I may be aggravated, I still need to be able to allow you to come in and be vulnerable and say, hey Ken, this bothered me, instead of blowing up and saying, man, I didn't mean it that way, you just took it the wrong way. I need to be able to listen. And even though I have so much response, I should be able to soak it in and then allow her to have her piece and her say, and then let her walk away, at least feeling some resolve that, okay, he heard me. And that takes a lot of work. That didn't happen overnight for us. Matter of fact, I like doing the other thing. I like telling you, look, I don't care, you need to suck it up. But once I started to say, okay, I will look into that area, I will listen, and then I would say, hey, if I did, I apologize, and then I would do better. And then I would intentionally work on it. I think I began to see what I wanted out of you in the beginning. You smiling more, or you being open altogether. It's because I gave you that.
So with that, just take a moment and ask yourself, am I a good listener? We always ask this question, and immediately everyone will say, oh yes, I'm a good listener. But really think about that question. Am I a good listener? Do I know how to communicate to my, if you're dating, and any relationship, it could be to your parents, it could be to, like you said, a close friend, but most importantly, even in a marriage, we gotta take time to listen to each other and to have a more meaningful conversation.
So we hope what we have shared with you today has blessed you, has encouraged you. Dee and I always, want to add to whatever information that is out there to help make better families and healthier relationships. Thank you.
Yes. So stay tuned. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit more about communication. Our next segment will be on, again, communication, but tone and nonverbals. A grace to grow.